Kim Kardashian has no power. I'm recording this in response to the whole uproar about the activist, animal rights activist, confronting her guerrilla war style. While at her book signing, they stood in line and pretended to be fans that were waiting to have their book signed by her. And one by one, you know, in a random order, I'm assuming, they approached her and asked her why she wore fur and showed her pictures of tortured animals and started chanting things. And, you know, each one said something different. And I feel that Kim Kardashian doesn't have as much power as everybody thinks. Yes, she's famous. Yes, she's has millions of people watching her and looking at her, at what she does and things like that. But she's masturbatory fodder. She is famous with women, with her demographic, because in a way, in a high school mentality, in that kind of a way. Like, they love her because she's the girl with the body they want, or the hair they want, or the face they want, or the money and the things that they want, and the freedom to do and go and be wherever they want to be in life. You know, she represents the popular girl in high school who was homecoming queen. You know, this untouchable, ungettable, unreachable height of whatever, you know. And I feel like their time was sort of spent unproductively, because Maslow's pyramid is real. It's a triangle that represents the base needs of human beings. From the bottom represents, you know, food, clothing, shelter, all the things you need to feel safe, secure. And everything in between, up until the tippy top, which represents self-actualization, which means the things that you're self-possessed, you have all your needs met, you can think of higher things like philosophy and science and art and all of this stuff. When you come at people like these activists did, and yes, I think they were brave. I mean, I could only imagine the tension of standing in line, of being the first one even to approach her and say these things. I mean, they're surrounded by her fans. They're surrounded by her security and these cameras. And that's why I say she is not more powerful than you. Kim Kardashian is not more powerful. Okay, let me back up to the security thing. When you come at people like that, you threaten them. They cannot, when people are threatened, they don't think clearly. They're in fear mode. There are two emotions. There's fear and love. And when people feel threatened, they go into fear mode or anger mode, which is just another expression of fear. And these people are her fans. They don't hear anything that these activists are saying. This is supposed to be a teaching moment, yes, that the activists are giving. But these people, and Kim Kardashian included, don't hear what these activists are saying. How many animals are being killed for her fur coats or her fur swimsuit or whatever. All they see are these screamy, you know, loud, chanty, mean people attacking their goddess, their idol. And then it's like the Peanuts cartoons, you know? Wah, 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 wah. That's all they hear. They don't hear anything that these people are saying. And it's very, I can understand that. What kind of teacher do you want to listen to that's screaming at you? What if Jesus said, "Turn the other cheek, motherfucker"? I mean, honestly, really? How far do you think Gandhi would have gotten if he would have been screaming and yelling and throwing pictures of tortured people out into the public. Silence is sometimes the best thing to do. Quiet teaching is sometimes the best thing to do. Now, back to the reason why I don't feel like Kim Kardashian is more powerful than you or me, us, we, is because there were more people in that room than just her. There were cameras. There were her fans there. You know, word of mouth spreads like wildfire. People have sold millions of books just from word of mouth. You know, people have started businesses just from word of mouth. I mean, word of mouth is extremely powerful. And those cameras were there. So that means that not only were her fans there in flesh and blood, but you and I got to be there. You and I got to be there through social media because those cameras were there, because Kim Kardashian was there. And that's the only power she has because she's trending right now, right? That's the only power she has. She has no higher ideals or philosophies that I know of. She's not speaking of them publicly. That, you know, I don't follow her, honestly. I don't know much about her other than she's married to Kanye West and has a baby. And has a fabulous ass. Real or fake, whatever. Anyway, those cameras were there, which allowed us to be there. Right? Which allowed us to watch these videos, which allowed us to make our own videos, which allows more people through social media to watch that video, to watch those activists, vegans, vegetarians, whatever they were, at work. I felt like their time was wasted. I felt like they made people more threatened and unthinking than what they were. When you threaten people's food, you do threaten their sense of security. You pull them down from their thinking, feeling, compassionate selves to their base nature of thriving and feeling that they lack security. You're talking about their food, their clothing, and how they choose to live their life. So they're not thinking. And I felt like that's where they failed the movement, so to speak. They took a powerful moment with cameras watching them and completely wasted it. It wasn't completely wasted. Let me go back and say, there are some people that probably heard them, that really got it, that were probably verging, that were tippy-toeing around changing their life and decided because of that they decided to do something about it. But picture this. This is how I would have handled it. I would have taken pamphlets. I would have taken pamphlets and been walking around, had some of the activists walking around handing out pamphlets about facts and figures about going vegan, about how the animals are, how many animals are, how they're treated, how, just information. And then I would have had the activists, instead of standing there screaming and yelling at her, I would have had them each walk up to her and hand her a bunny rabbit, a stuffed bunny rabbit, a stuffed fox, a stuffed whatever, and had them put down this bunny rabbit and say, this is for you, to remind you that 50 of these 50 rabbits like this, real rabbits, have to die for you to have that swimming suit. And the next person would have come up and with the stuffed fox and said 103 foxes had to die so you could have your red fox fake eyelashes. That was Jennifer Lopez. She did that. She had some fake eyelashes made out of red fox fur years ago. And something soft like that. And the cameras would have picked it up and people would have watched and said, oh my God, I think they would have been affected by that. Or they could have had, because they probably wouldn't allow live animals in there, they could have had stuffed animals in cages and just sat silently with signs, held them up. 50 rabbits had to die for you to have your rabbit-lined winter boots or whatever. Silence, quiet teaching moments are what we're looking for here. That to me is more profound and more effective than yelling at people and making them get more defensive and just cling closer to the things that they have. You're not going to change people's beliefs by screaming at them. It's just not the nature of human beings. Our minds don't hear no. Our minds hear yes. That's how we're built. That's how we're built. When you tell yourself, no more cigarettes, no more pizza, no more cookies, no more milk, what do? You go and have more of those things. That's just the way that our minds are made. And I just think that a softer approach is always better. Okay. People don't want to hear what they're fighting against. People want to know what they're fighting for. That's what my major message for this video is. Do you think Martin Luther King, yes, I'm dragging him out again. I know everybody does at one time or another. But do you think he would have been as successful as he was if he just named off all the numbers all the time of how awful, how many hangings there were of black men last year? How many black children were denied access to good school and things like that because of segregation? Do you think that Mahatma Gandhi would have inspired anyone to want to change if all he talked about was how horrible, horrible conditions were? No, these men were visionaries. People talk about, okay, I'm not going to yell. People talk about and make fun of the unicorn rainbow lover believer. The visionary is who they're making fun of. These men were not focused on the horrors of the day. That's what made them visionaries. They weren't going around spouting out how horrible it is, how horrible it was, to make people change and move. They were talking to them about a new future. That's how you inspire people to change. You give them hope and something to look forward to. You spout off to them the numbers of when you've been a vegan for 1 month. This is how many animals you saved. This is how much water you saved. This is the good that you're bringing into the world by going vegan. Not, this is what you're doing by eating meat. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, people need to be educated, but people need to know what good they're bringing to the world. People want to be inspired. We are taking this format that we have and using it in just a horrible way. Most channels that I watch spend more time talking about the billions of animals that are dying and showing videos, horrible feed. Yes, some people need to see that. I had to see that before I changed. I saw the Gary Yourofsky video, the best speech you'll ever hear. And I went vegan overnight. I have not had another piece of meat, milk, dairy, cheese, anything in the 15 months, February was a year. It's May 10th, Mother's Day. And I haven't had, it turned me around completely. It burned my soul to see the suffering of animals like that. So yes, it needs to be out there. But once you have people's attention, they want to be inspired. There needs to be things out there like that, because there's hard asses like me who are like, I don't give a, I just don't see things. I have a soft heart, but I need to be kind of hammered, But most people want to do things, but they need to be inspired. They need to feel like there is a purpose. You keep throwing these numbers and it feels like hopeless. It feels hopeless. You need to give them reasons to become vegan and to feel like they're adding to the goodness of the world. Purpose. Power. They need to feel empowered. So yes, the visionaries of the world are the ones who empower people. Those are the real leaders. The people that tell you that there's a new way. The people that light the path are the unicorn people, the flowers and hearts and rainbow people. Yes. Because if you keep looking at what you got, that's all that's going to be created. Because where your attention, energy flows, where attention goes. You just make it bigger and bigger and bigger. So I say, start talking to people. Start teaching people about the good that will happen once they become vegan. Stop cramming the violence and brutality down their throat. They will find it. What they're not finding is the beauty and hope of a new day. That's what needs to be given to this movement. That's what people need to talk about more. And I stick with the flowers and hearts and unicorn people, because without them, there is never going to be anything but realists of the world who's looking at what already is instead of creating what needs to be created. Period.